Welcome to the GameChanger 00100 show. I am your host, GameChanger. All right, so AMS did a reply. This one was not to MTR directly. This one was more to the people like myself who replied to his reply about MTR's reply to living in Thailand. He he did that, and I gotta say, I learned a lot about the way alpha male strategies think. Hit the like button. And what I learned is that, and I actually learned a couple of things. The way he thinks is a lot like the way women think. And this isn't me calling him feminine or anything like this. Because men are global in actual real world strategists. We create strategies throughout our lives. Women are social strategists. They create strategies in dealing with interpersonal relationships with others. And AMS is that, which is what makes him successful at what he does. Hit the like button. One thing that women do is they control and manipulate the social climate to their favor. Just like men change and manipulate the world to their favor, instead of for waiting for good weather, we'll make a hut or something like that. Instead of for doing this, we'll make a wheel. Instead of for transporting goods from one destination to another through just by carrying it or something like that, we'll create the wheel. Instead of for eating raw food, we'll create fire. Or instead of for waiting for lightning to strike somewhere and then have fire for a second, we actually create it. So that is how men work. Women create social conditions that will benefit them that men don't actually see, because they need men to create these social settings. Kind of like alimony laws. We didn't know that women will weaponize that against us. Just like child support laws, except welfare, things like that. They work to create these institutions and then use said institutions to manipulate and get social power. AMS's mind works in a very similar way. What am I talking about? The dating climate is changing. It's changing drastically. Now, I'm not certain what it's changing into, but what I am certain of is what it's changing away from. And that is AMS's day of style dating. AMS talks about, the 18 to 24 era. That is his target group. And remember, when he was 18 to 24, it was, or excuse me, 16 to 24. The dating market was completely different. Men would walk up to women. Cold approach was very commonplace. There was no such thing as online dating in the early 2000s, late 90s. Or it was very little. The primary source of dating was cold approach, going to events, venues, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Just basically being outside enough and talking to enough women. You will find success, provided that you had a proper mating strategy and provided that you did the things that AMS is talking about. However, that was 20 years plus ago. And a lot, and I mean a lot has changed in the market. For one, not saying that those things are dead, but it's done far, 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 far less, and for a reason. And that reason is it gets far less results. And it has far less success. Even when you have proper strategy. Proper strategy is going to help, and it's better than having an improper strategy. But the truth of the matter is it is nowhere near as effective. terms like ghosting, leaving unread, etc., 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 these terms did not exist back then. If you, back in the day, if you had the strategy enough to get her number, that was pretty much the end. You were really just like 2 steps away from, back in those days. Ask me how I know, because I lived through them. Now it almost it doesn't mean that you aren't gonna hit it. I want to say like getting a number is more like a definite maybe, but okay, all that getting a number is a guarantee that you absolutely won't hit it. So it negates the guarantee. If she says no to the number, that means she absolutely won't hit it. If she says yes to the number, then that means that there is a remote possibility. And that is she might ghost you. And if she don't ghost you, that means that she might not show up for the date. That's a thing that exists now that doesn't exist back then, or that didn't exist back then. And then there is a remote possibility that she shows up for the date and demands like a high amount for the date, or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Or you're just not compatible for a number of reasons. And because she's not SE triple actually invested, because they're waiting longer before they make that investment, then she just, or you just something comes up. Something comes up, life lifes, and like, I changed my mind. It's a completely different mating environment. Now, to his credit, AMS has come with strategies to this mating environment, but it all requires that men are working towards the same goal. And that goal is to become a 90 style player in 2026. Hit the like button. Being a player requires a situation where women, attractive women, are constantly walking through a revolving door. I mean, women come in, they stay a bit, and then they go out. And that either the same amount of women that go out come in. That's the only way to be a successful player. Meaning, like if you have 7 on a rotation and 1 leaves, another 1 comes, you still have 7 on rotation. If 2 leaves and 1 comes, you have 6 on rotation. And the problem is, which was fine in the 90s, because the turnaround time was very quick. Now you probably want to hold on to some a little longer because they're just not coming and going like that. And I guess, if you're 6'4" and rich, that does give you more of a rotation. I don't know. I'm not 6'4" nor rich, but I doubt it. I doubt it. I'm pretty sure it'll give you more, better chances than being, 5'4" and broke. Don't get me wrong. However, I don't think that is the game changer. Hit the like button. That he would have us make it out to be. So we're going to get straight into this one because there's some things I want to cover, and then I might want to have time for a second review. So someone says now they're demanding dudes pay a bill to go on a date. Yeah. In the 90s. Oh, and by the way, By the way, let me speak on this for a second. Thanks, Jeff. The whole paying the bill thing and the just ridiculous demands of a man's personal income, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's just them. Like I said earlier, they're changing the dating culture. Most of them are really not trying to have these ridiculous demands. Most of them are really just trying to get other women to have ridiculous demands. Why? Because that's how women work. They manipulate the dating culture. If all these women were demanding like these outlandish financial requirements, oh yeah, she got to make $500,000 a day in order. Once they've made that change, and once they've gotten enough women on that page, then that just frees up the market for every guy who makes six figures that she normally wouldn't have had access to. But since all of the more attractive women are making ridiculous demands, she now can have a better demand. It's kind of like if a car dealer was to convince all the car dealerships to increase their price, and then you just say, I got the lowest price in town. They're working on that. So that's just bluster. That never have I ever had a woman that said I had to make a certain amount. So that's once again, they have their strategies too, and their strategies isn't one that's directly inflicted on the men. Their strategies is also ones that pertain to dealing with other women and changing the social climate, for said women. For example, years ago there was this show on HBO called it was either called Cat House or Real SE. No, it was called Cat House. It was something about the Cat House. I think they did a follow up documentary on that. And um, you had this. They both were black. You had Young Hotness who was working at the Cat House. By the way, the Cat House is a brothel in Nevada. She was working at the Cat House, and she just was like, no, I like to make sure that my customers, my clients are satisfied. You know, and then you had this older chick, and by older I mean like mid to late 30s, maybe even 40s, and she actually pulled her vajayjay out of retirement. Now, here's what I'm guessing. She said that she married some rich, palm face person, and life was good, but she just missed the lifestyle, so she had to come back. But no, actually, life wasn't good. You're broke, and now you're trying to sell your used box with the 20 somethings. That's what's actually happened. You're trying to sell your vintage box next to the 20 something. And on this show, and I believe that I've never been to, even though Nevada is, a long drive away from me. And I've been to Nevada, more times than I can count. I've never actually been to a cat house there. But on the show, the way it works, and I like this way, is that the women line up and the guy just picks from the lineup of women. Now, you may be attractive for a woman who's in her mid to late 30s or early 40s. You may be, but when you're standing, holding a number, standing next to a woman who's young enough to be your daughter, you lose all the time. All the time. Unless he has some like teacher fetish or some crap like that, you lose all the time. She don't want to be in that position, but life has placed her in that position. Anyway, the younger one was talking about how she wants to make sure that her customers are satisfied and blah, 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 blah. And the older one was talking about techniques like extra money techniques, like midway through, are you in, I don't know, she was saying something like, prolong the foreplay. So at the end of the hour, he'll be forced to pay for another hour. It's like, oh, that's 59 minutes. And sorry you didn't finish, but now that'll be another hour. Like she just would do stuff like that, or like everything was extra. Like, oh, you want to touch my hair? That's extra. Like, oh, you want me to rub your shoulder? That's extra. Like that's. So she was trying to teach this into the younger worker, and the younger worker is not having it. Like, listen, um, he's gonna come to me. He's gonna like me. He's gonna like the experience. He's going to leave satisfied, and he's going to come back because I satisfied him. You can play those games all you want to. Those guys are not going to come back because they're either going to be paid twice as much for the same thing, or they're just going to be frustrated, because they didn't get a pleasurable experience because you just kept, hitting them with the add-ons. And then he's going to come to me. She didn't say that, but that's how those type of things work. So what happened? The older woman started to fight the younger woman. I'm talking about physical fist fight, or open hand slap fight, eye scratching or whatever, women like that do. This was a very long time ago. And why did that happen? Why is the older woman worried about what the younger woman is doing with her box? Because the other woman was not going with the changes that she wanted to make to the environment. The older women said, listen, if I could get all the women on this ridiculous page, then I will still be able to sell an inferior product because the men will have no choice. That didn't work. So you have a superior product at a better price, you're going to be pushed out. That is the way these women think. Now, and that goes to what Jeff was saying about they are demanding dues. They're encouraging others to make that demand. That's them manipulating the environment or attempting to manipulate the environment the same way I was describing just now. Is what it is. All right. So their strategy is negative polarization, huh? Describe what, because I know what both those words mean separately. I don't know what it means like together. So yeah, tell me what negative polarization is, and I'll answer that question. All right, let's get into, now that I got the people here, or some of the people here, let's get into the video. Actually, that's what I wanted to do first. Okay. Didn't want this to happen. All right. Okay. So I see Azrael here. So let me see what he has to say. I'm going to go over the comments first. It's difficult to get a man to understand something when his salary depends on his not understanding it. Very well said. A ninja on vacation, weekend bros. We're definitely going to talk about that. And I'm not going to say that AMS is not funny. I'm going to say that he's trying to manipulate the environment to his favor, not to your favor. I am going to say that. All right. AMS is 6'8", so he don't have to leave. Yes, he does. Okay, this notion. Men are under the impression that women are gravitating towards men who possess features and qualities that they don't have. No. No. Does it help to be 6'8" versus 5'8"? Absolutely. Abso-freaking-lutely. When everything else is in place, the 6'8" thing does work as a bonus. but that's about it. Um, if you ask a woman who's with a man who's 6'8", would she be with him if he was 6'2", 6'1", even 6'0"? She likely would say yes. But however, it's a shorter guy who would think that who would think that like, oh, he's 6'8", so we don't really have that type of problem. I'm not saying that AMS has problems. I'm saying that, and in fact, I didn't think he was 6'8", but just know. My wife was cheating on my homeboy. Said, bro, let take you to Brazil before you end up locked. Changed my life. Okay, I love renting women. Period. Okay, so a lot of people really aren't um, feeling his message. This isn't AMS's thing. I'm 32. I'm an older guy, and you really be dropping some gems. Yes, he does. I never was taught, but I won't lie. You also funny as well, and he is. He is, and the accent helps a lot. My wife was cheating. My homeboy said, "Oh dang." All right, let's see. Okay, Ninja on vacation. AMS, please make a shirt so I can buy it. Oh, okay. You know you can make your own shirt. All right. I can see AMS doing the voice of a character on the Boondocks. I can see that too. I'm going traveling if I could. Yeah, they just want the tall millionaire. Okay. Tell that to Michael B. Jordan. If you suck here, you'll suck there. Okay. I'm married. I still watch these videos. It's more entertaining at this point. Okay, they really stuck on that. All right. So now we get like a feel of. Oh, I'm gonna watch this. When white girls move to the hood. I'm gonna watch that a little later. So now we see what's going on. All right. So let us move past this.
Looking for
Okay. So he's making light of it, but he realized that he said something to trigger people. Now it was meant to trigger people. So AMS, he's a master strategist when it comes to, and I know that's in his name, but he's a master strategist when it comes to dealing with men. In the instance that he understands that there exists a certain number of men who, for whatever reason, they want to feel better than other groups of men. They want to feel like, hey, I'm better than this particular group of men. The other dating coaches, they thrive in that niche. So what he's doing is he's saying, passport bros are coming at me, and he's just trying to diminish other groups of men, and basically like, okay, I'm trolling them.
to make any video that don't align with their opinions. All hell gonna break loose. Oh man. Woo boy, I woke up this morning, had a goddamn sign burning in my yard. Said, don't fuck with the passport bros, bitch. I mean, the passport bros don't play. Man, you know, I thought we had some with the semen retention boys. Then we had the Bitcoin boys. Then we had, who else we had? We had the no fat boys. It's been a lot of clans on YouTube. Whole lot of clans that you don't play with. But boy, ain't none of them fucking with the passport bros. Oh man, you never seen a bunch of emotional men a day in my goddamn life. But anyway, guys, MTR, O'Shea both made responses, which caused me to make this response because I obviously didn't make myself clear enough on my video, my reaction video to MTR. So I wanted to clear up some points. All right, guys. All right. So this is my olive branch to the passport bros. All right, number one, guys, got my little talking list. I can't remember all this shit, right? So I watched their videos and I seen some stuff that I didn't clarify. So I took some notes. All right. Number one talking point, guys. I support the passport bros. Guys, in case y'all forgot, I'm the guy who made the video why I'm against the MGTOW movement. If any of y'all guys remember, that was my first big.
Okay. What you're about to see here is what's called being passive aggressive. I support the passport bros, but while saying that, I'm also going to take as many digs towards passport bros and say every discouraging thing that Black women say against passport bros, while saying, yeah, but I support the passport bros. You know, it's kind of like somebody saying, you know, hey, I love you, but you ugly as hell. It's kind of like that. Like when you support something, you don't give negative advertisement for that thing. Imagine if a person has a restaurant and this person is in your family. And you go into that restaurant while the customers are there. And you say, hey, the sauce is good, but this meat tastes spoiled. That's you not supporting them. I support you, but this food tastes like crap. That's you not supporting them. Let's be clear, you are not a supporter of the passport bro movement. You're not. You're indifferent you're indifferent at best. Not a supporter.
Video on YouTube. And in that video, I specifically talk about I'm tired of bitching and moaning on YouTube. Now, before I go any further, I got to make this disclaimer. So there are a lot of passport.
Okay. Saying that you dislike them less than another group of people, in this case MGTOW, is not saying that is not actually support. Kind of like I don't support Arkansas by saying it's better than Mississippi. That's not me supporting Arkansas. Me supporting Arkansas would be like, yes, I've been, it's a great place and you should go too. That's me supporting it. You are not supporting it. Stop with your wordplay. And please stop saying MTR. Please stop saying MTR. Your accent is funny. But yeah, what is it with the word R? The letter R? I don't know.
Bro, like, yeah, motherfucker, apologize. Hold on.
You're not going to apologize. Understand that. I mean, your whole premise, because I do watch your stuff, even though I'm over 24. Your whole premise is to maintain masculine frame. I must have heard you have said that at least 1,000 times. Maintain masculine frame. Maintain masculine frame. You're not going to apologize. So that ship has sailed. You are just going to try to restate what you already stated in the most masculine way possible, because that's all you can do to maintain masculine frame. So no one intelligent is going to, or no one who understands you is really going to expect an apology from you. Hit the like button.
I want to make this disclaimer. It start off nice, but at some point in this video, shit might go left.
I want you to pay close attention to this analogy.
He used to do like this, right? You get in trouble, right? He come in there, he talk to you for the first 5 minutes. And he nice. Like you do something stupid. He come in there, he just is nice and calm. But so and start taking off his belt. Yeah, he start taking off his belt. At first you thinking like, oh man, this just gonna be a nice talking to, and I'm gonna just sit here and say, yes, sir, yeah, like you learning from your mistakes, right? And that's gonna be the end of it, and you get to go on by your merry way. All you gotta do is just say, yes, sir, and look sincere, right? Just look sincere and say, yes, sir. But some point in that, he stands up and he starts to take off his belt, and then you start to realize, I don't think I'm gonna be able to just get away with yes, sir today. That's what's gonna happen on here.
Okay. Now, and this goes to BMT and NTR, because I don't think that they want the smoke from AMS, because AMS is smart, monstrously funny, popular, and he's about that. To where NTR and BMT, they, like Kevin Samuels, understands the profit of no major beefs and no major confrontations. They understand that beef don't make money. They understand that any major back and forth battle rap between him and MTR will end with MTR making more money with AMS making more money and MTR making less. Both of them understand that. Or they just don't know what he's doing. This man just gave an analogy where he's an uncle with a belt, and you are a child saying, no, sir, yes, sir. And the response that they gave really didn't address that. But that's essentially what this analogy is. He's the uncle with the belt. Beating somebody else's kid for whatever reason. And you're the child saying, yeah, no, sir, yes, sir, yes, no, yes. That's you. I know this is passive aggressive, and that's what he's described. The way he described his uncle's behavior was passive aggressive. Start off passive, and then you pull out the belt. That's the passive, then the aggressive. So he basically just downright said, I am making a passive aggressive attack on MTR and on the Passport Bros.
I'm gonna start off nice, but somewhere in this video, I'm gonna stand up and I'm gonna start pulling off my belt. All right. So before you guys think that this some video where the Passport Bros get their ass kissed, let's just stick around, because I'm gonna start off nice and I'm gonna end up, I don't know where this might go. But anyway, guys, I want to just say I support the Passport Bros. Rather than the bitching and complaining that was going
Here's the passive part.
on in 2017 with the True Force Loneliness guys and the MGTOW guys, I would rather for men travel than make videos bitching on the internet all goddamn day.
Saying that you like them more than you like MGTOW and True Force Loneliness is not liking something or supporting it. It's not.
I would rather for you guys to do that. Women have gotten fucking ridiculous. I would give you that. I told all you boys to do the self-improvement, get on your grind. So men got a skill, got in shape. And then right when men got to the goal, the goal line, the damn goal post up and move it. No, now you got to be 6'3". Yeah, it ain't good enough.
Never forget that he said that, at least not for the duration of this video. Never forget that he said, because basically what AMS just said was that all the advice that I gave was crap. Boom. What AMS just said was all the advice that I gave was crap. AMS, you want to be passive aggressive? Be aggressive. Like you just negated all your advice. What you just said was, so I've been telling people to improve, and I told them this and this, and do your strategy, and then men got better, and then all the advice I gave was scrapped because they just moved the goalposts. Then I'm just here like, so you know that they're going to move the goalposts, and you're still running towards it. You're still encouraging men to run in the direction when they are going to move the goalposts. I've never been to a dog race, but I've seen it on TV. You're like that dog that's trying to catch that mechanical rabbit. You're like, okay, I realize that. Yeah, the smarter dog would say, something, it's just going to keep moving. And the faster I go, the further it's going to move. So, okay.
You got to just have something going for yourself. Nope. Now you got to be 6'3", not 6 feet. 6 lane.
Let's continue. Remember, they're going to move the goalposts. Now they want you to be 6'3", and then 6'4", and then 6'5", right? Okay, so we understand that. Here, I'm gonna write that down. Where's my red book? Ah, here it is. Okay. So post. All right.
Guys. So let me just point that out right there. Bitchin' ass MGTOW videos all day. Like somebody really give a shit. I see these women on TikTok talking about centering men, and they've been celibate for 5 years. It's almost like they think the world's supposed to stop moving because they celibate. Bitch, that's just one fucking vagina. The earth is out here.
TR just has one dick. And the world didn't stop moving once he started giving it to women in Thailand. But you moved. You reacted. You had something to say. Why? Because just like those women, what MTR is doing is changing the environment. He's changing the environment in a way that doesn't please you, so you're trying to change it back. Those women who talk about decentering men or stuff, they are attempting to change the environment. None of them have the reach as MTR. But that's what they're attempting to do. You see MTR making this attempt, and he's not even doing it consciously. He's just telling about his good experience there. and you are trying to change it back.
Fucking. It's like they think the world stopped because they went celibate. Like men at home crying because she got her one vagina celibate. And that was my only point with men going their own way. Nobody gives a shit. So let me point that out right there.
You gave a
All
shit.
right. The next talking point, guys, is the passport bros are not my audience. Guys, what are the passport bros? The passport bros are typically going to be what? Men over 30. You do have some anomalies in there, right? You do have some. But by and large, the passport bros are men who are more seasoned in their career. They've accumulated some form of resources, right? They are further along in their career. They make a little bit more money, right? And so these are the guys. That's not my audience.
Your audience. Both O'Shea, myself, and NTR are in their 40s. And we watch you. So it is your audience. Oh, and we all have incomes. So it is your audience. What you're doing now, it's called lying. Not only are they your audience, you've been at this so long that a person in his 20s would have turned into his 30s if he watched you from day one until now. So it is your audience, sir. Stop trying to pretend like you don't care, because once again, they're changing the environment. Listen, okay. Just like these old broads are going around giving these young broads bad advice, they're because they want to change the environment. Men in their 30s and 40s, just like you talk to men in their 20s, because that's who you claim is your audience, just like you talk to men in their 20s, so do MTR. And you see that. And that scares you. I know you're not going to, because you want to maintain masculine frame, you're not going to admit that you are worried about the changes of that. You're not going to have like a bunch of men in their 30 pluses behaving a certain way and it not affect the men in their 20s. You're not. That's ridiculous to assume that. Now, you're very smart. So you know that. You're just hoping that we don't know that. Oh, I'm not worried about them guys. Yes, you are. Because just like you're a man in your 40s and you are influencing the behavior of men in their 20s, so is MTR. So is O'Shea, and so is myself. So this whole notion that, oh, I don't care, they're in their 30s. For one, you have an audience in their 30s. There isn't a cutoff time for stuff like this. There isn't. Nobody's gonna wait on their 25th birthday and say, you know something? Yeah, I think I'm done with the viewing strategies for mating because I'm gonna jack off now. Like it doesn't work that way. You were discouraging. You were speaking to a 40-year-old man when you did your video to MTR about MTR and those like him. You were speaking to a 40-year-old man. But your audience is in their 20s? I'll make videos for women for the men in their 20s. No, you're not. No, you're not. No, you are not. You're making videos for anybody, male, female, black, white, short, tall, that'll listen. Let us continue.
I can tell you I don't have no 30-year-olds. Hell, I ain't gonna even sit up here and tell you I don't have no 50 and 60-year-olds. But that's not my primary audience.
No. You're not going to escape. You're not going to escape because I'm the uncle here. You're not going to escape what you were doing. You were talking to a 40-year-old man. You were talking about the actions of a 40-year-old man. Now, once did you say if you're in your 20s, you shouldn't be doing this? In fact, I looked at the titles of your videos. They are not age specific. Oh, but we're going to go over the titles of your videos after this.
Guys, my primary audience is going to be 16 to 24-year-olds. That's the dating market, not passport bros. So every time somebody gives
the dating market is not 16 to 24 when you're 40 plus and you're still dating. And I'm not talking about, like, when I say you, I'm not talking about the plurality of black men or bald black men or black men with beards or black men with glasses. I'm saying you, AMS, are 40 plus and you're dating. Because I'd say 16, 24 because that's the age people dating. Dude, you've been dating since you're 20, since you're 16, and you haven't stopped. All right.
Opinion about passport bros, y'all go to crying and thinking somebody wants your ass to stay here because you my audience. You are not my goddamn audience. The men who are my audience are young and broke and getting into their career, not your old ass. If you think my primary audience is a bunch of 35-year-old grown-ass men, you stupid as hell. My audience can't afford to be fucking passport bros. Most of them barely can afford to be goddamn Patreon members. Now let some goddamn passport bros. So stop all this goddamn bullshit that y'all guys think that every time somebody make a video about some passport bros, they want your ass, they need your money, and he think the dating market is over and we go.
Yeah, you're trying to hide the fact. I've already went over this. They're changing the environment, and you don't like that change. And now you're pretending like, oh, I'm not affected. It don't bother me. Yes, it does.
Oh, who gives a fuck? Take your ass on, goddammit. One monkey don't stop no goddamn show.
One monkey ain't gonna stop no goddamn show. So now we know that he likes to watch monkey shows. I didn't even know that was a thing. I didn't. But apparently there's something called monkey shows and he watches them and it contains a lot of monkeys and one of them is not going to stop the show. So him and a bunch of monkey watchers, watch a group of monkeys monkeying around and nobody's going to say, hey, wait, they're missing a monkey. I guess that's what's going on. I'm not going to say Alabama is Mississippi. I am going to say that it seems to be a place where people watch monkeys.
Big grown ass walking around here with gray beard. I'm thinking you somebody dating coach audience. You ain't no goddamn somebody audience.
Okay, fair point.
Say, like I sit around and I watch videos that I don't have no interest in. I sit around and watch some female videos just to see what they're gonna say. And that don't mean that I'm really like an active listener. I'm just passively watching, just as curious to see. I watch Aaliyah face videos sometimes, and I'm just curious what she's saying. I don't give a fuck about it for real. I watch old retirement. You retire 62. Can you retire 72? I'm fucking 46 years old. What the fuck am I watching a video? Can you retire 62? Hell, I don't know. I'm passively watching the motherfucker. So do I got some older guys who probably watch me passively, just curious to what I'm going to say? Yes, but that's not my audience. 90% of my guys are going to be young guys who can't afford to travel any goddamn way. So, like I said before,
You're threatened. Okay. To understand why he feels threatened and why he's trying to deny. I mean, he's going to deny feeling threatened no matter what, by any means necessary, because you maintain masculine frame. That's just what he does. And that's what he encourages others to do. The reason that you're feeling threatened is because it represents a change in the dating environment that didn't exist at the time that you were 16 to 24. We're close in age. And I could tell you that between 16 and 24, I had no thought, no notion, no understanding, no possible, I couldn't even fathom. I couldn't in the 90s, early 2000s, I could not even fathom the notion of even thinking about ever traveling overseas and meeting the women there. That whole notion was just completely foreign to me. Ask if that notion is foreign to today's 16 to 24-year-old man or boy, in the case of 16 and 17. Like, ask if that notion is completely foreign to them. Ask them. Because it wasn't foreign to Austin Holloman when he was 24. Ask them if that notion is foreign to them. And they'll straight up tell you, not only is it not foreign to them, they wish they could. See, your advice in the late 90s, early 2000s, you would have been speaking to an audience where there's no other way. The only way to get laid is to negotiate with Western women. That is an environment that you would excel in. And that's the environment that you'd like to exist. But now your audience is men who are listening to you because they can't travel. According to your own description. They're listening to you because they can't afford to travel. Because they're too broke to travel. That's not sustainable. And also, because I agree with your messages, the self-improvement and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, get your money up, get your body fat down, all that stuff. I greatly agree with that. But guess what? They're getting their money up so they can travel. Oh, Lord. They're getting their skills up so they could travel. Oh, Lord. It's a whole different mindset. Listen, if you would have asked me at, say, like 16, what a Brazilian woman looked like, I would tell you that she was green. Because the character Blanca on Street Fighter 2 was Brazilian and he was green, Like, oh, I guess Brazilians are green. Like Native Americans are red, blacks are brown, whites are pink, and Brazilians are green. Like I knew nothing about the rest of the world. I did not know. I knew locally where the baddest ones were. They were in the Oakland Hills. They were in Hayward. They were in Hunters Point in San Francisco. Um, Alameda, if you wanted some white girls, in the Dublin Pleasanton area. That's what I knew. And that was as far as I would travel. The furthest place mentioned being the Dublin Pleasanton area. That was it. You're dealing with a completely different mindset of men, and you don't like it. It's not that your 18 to 24 audience that you claim like, oh no, that's all people I care about. No, it's not that. It's just that their mindset has changed, as it should, because the dating, mating, relating environment has changed drastically, and it's more difficult to sell to this particular mindset, especially if, well, we'll get into that.
Yeah. On. You ain't my audience, no way. What you are my is.
You're not getting
That's
more
the way that works. So I don't know why this thing, like, no dating coach can say.
You're not. So he used to have this thing that he said, like, I'm gonna make her eat my ass. You haven't gotten, and I know this because I'm in the dating market as well. You haven't gotten more ass eat sections because of the passport bro movement. You just haven't. You haven't like looked a woman in the face like, yeah, so all the other men are gone, so eat my ass. Like that has not happened. And you're gonna explain why, but that hasn't happened. Now, you're more likely to get your ass eaten overseas. And this is coming from a person that has never had his ass eaten overseas. Um, in fact, and I'm trying to remember this. If I did, it was very unremarkable, but I don't think that I've ever had my ass eaten here in the States. If I did, it was somebody who during foreplay stuck the tongue up my ass, and I was like, whoa, and that was it. And not that I have anything against somebody who has that particular fetish; it's just not mine. But I do happen to know that the level of cooperation overseas is so high that if one had that particular fetish or fantasy, he need only ask from a woman who is enthusiastically eager to fulfill my fantasies and my fetishes. Um, which they were. They just weren't. That just wasn't my fetish. So there was no need for that. Now he's talking about like, leverage, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Well, that's where you have the most leverage. Y'all leaving makes more leverage for me. It's like, okay, well, they're going to a place where they have most leverage. Like that's why they're there. I showed a video last time where the woman was like, hey, Why don't you let my little sister move in and you can do her and me? And she begged you to do that. Why? Because she understood that her local mating options and dating options, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, were very dim, were very very small, and he had that leverage.
The thing about a passport, bro, because if you do, he just because he ain't gonna get our money no more. You ain't my money, no goddamn.
That
Most guys don't have the job flexibility to be a passport bro. Yo, the reaction video to MTR. That was the main.
what and what is the point in saying that? First of all, that's not the main point of your video because you would have said that in your video. So that wasn't the main point. The main point was how great a country America is because you can put money into the S&P 500, and you'll be a millionaire by the time you're 60. That was the main point of your video. If the point of the video was to say that most people, most men are not able to live abroad, then you would have said that. Your video had nothing to do with that. So now, and like I say, that's what you have to do to maintain masculine frame. You can't go back. You can't apologize because that'll take you out of frame. That'll show weakness, and that's not alpha. That takes you out of frame. So you're going to say you're going to do this whole passive aggressive thing. Like, I like the passport bros, and all I was saying was, well, you didn't say that. And nothing you said in that video, as far as I remember, alluded to that in any way, shape, or form. So that wasn't the thesis of your last video. If it was, then you missed it by a long shot. So now what you're saying is you got to stay here anyway. And while you're here, listen to my stuff. And it's like, okay, I agree with that message. I got to stay here. Though I work from home, my job requires that I am in the 50 states. I can't even take my work to Guam if I wanted to, even though that's a territory. Trust me, I asked. So now I can live anywhere in these states. I mean, and this is where I live, but yeah, I have to stay within the 50 states. So I am one of the people that you described. Maybe not for financial reasons, but I am bound stateside. And I did and do listen to your content. And was that to remind? So your whole video was to remind you of that? Because that's some asshole stuff. Okay, so, and this is why blacks fail real bad when it comes to alternative sources of stuff. I'm going to give you an example. Segregation. Segregation, was basically, there's a technical definition, but let's just say there was a separation between white and blacks, or white and others, white and coloreds. Now, this gave an extraordinary opportunity for businessmen who wanted to sell to black people who could not go to white-only establishments. So imagine a grocery store owner telling a group of black people, a black grocery store owner telling a group of black people, you can't go nowhere. You can't go nowhere. This is the colored only store. And if I want to charge you this amount, then I'm going to charge you this amount. And if I don't want to mop my floors, I'm not going to mop my floors because you can't go nowhere else. That's essentially what AMS is saying. Like, you can't go anywhere else. So you're going to stay here and put up with the crap. And I'm going to help you put up with the crap. So what you wound up having was a population, and pay attention close to what I'm saying, because this goes into what's going on with the movement, and AMS sees all of this. I'm saying AMS sees this. AMS is very smart. He's smarter than his accent suggests. A lot smarter than his accent suggests. What AMS represents in this is that you have a population of colored people shopping at your store who would rather be shopping at a different store. That's what you have. That's not the type of market dynamics that you want. Because guess what happened to the black community after they took down those white only signs? Y'all see that? Y'all see that? What was the civil rights movement about? The civil rights movement was about a bunch of people who didn't want to shop at monopolized stores ran by assholes who don't mop the floors. That's what it was about. He don't want that type of market group.
Point of it. Most of you guys never will be a fucking passport bro, because you don't have the job flexibility or you don't make enough money to be a passport bro. You trap.
There you go. And there you have it. You can't win. You can't break even, and you can't step out of the game. So that's that crow game, huh? That's that crow game. This man said most of you guys ain't gonna never be a passport bro. This what he just said was, you ain't gonna retire. Nigga, you ain't gonna ever retire. You are going to work until the day that you croak, all the while trying to negotiate with these local bitches. So now you need me to figure out how to do that.
Traveling 2 weeks out the year don't make you no passport bro. It makes you a nigga on vacation.
And that is his punchline. And that's a funny punchline. It doesn't make you a passport bro. It makes you a nigga on vacation. Now, when MTR watched this, he started laughing. And I don't know if MTR realizes this. Nigga, he talking about you. How many weeks were you just in? Nigga, he's talking about you. I bet you don't know this song's about you, about you, about you. You don't know that this song is about you? Oh crap. I was like, wait, you okay, so years ago, right? I think I was 18 or 16 to 24 or something like that when 50 Cent came out with Window Shopper. I don't know what age I was. I'm gonna be honest. But I do know I was young. 50 Cent comes out with Window Shopper and and I'm listening, I was like, oh damn. And and people loved it. Like you heard it, you heard the music bumping. Like when the cars go by, it's like, hey, you just a window shopper. Dun 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 dun. Hey, you was a window shopper. And I thought that, and I was thinking every time I heard that song, everybody is stupid but me. Until one time I just had to grab a nigga and shake him like he talking about you. He talking about you. He's talking about you, nigga. He's talking about you. He's rich. You're broke. He's making fun of you. You are making him richer as he shits on you. And that NTR kind of gave me that feel like, you know, he's talking about you, right? Yes, it's a funny thing. You know, you're a nigga on vacation, and MTR, you was a nigga on vacation, and now you're back. Like, what the fuck? Like, what the hell? Am I making this up? Am I somebody's a hater? Is that hate? Like, what the hell? Like, okay. But it's amazing that, he made a video just to say that you're stuck here. It's like, okay. Okay, that's okay. I think the people who are stuck here that want to leave, no. I don't think that there exists a person that's not retarded that is saying that they want to go there and not know that they're stuck here. I don't think that that exists. I don't think that what that person, that imaginary person doesn't exist. The person that's like, yeah, so I want to move overseas and I don't know why I can't. Because that's even stupider than a person who actually moves overseas and then runs out of money immediately. Like, because, like, what the hell? It's like you didn't know that you're job bound to the U.S. People know that they can't retire abroad. What the fuck? That's why you made this video, to inform them of what they obviously know. It's like somebody just walking into like a Warriors game saying, like on the court, because they didn't know that you actually have to make it into the NBA to walk on the court. Like, yes, people know their restrictions and why they exist. So basically, your audience is a bunch of niggas that drive on the wrong side of the street because they didn't know that in this country we drive on the right side. Like, what the fuck? Like I said, Jay-Z was the first to make that his brand. Uh, okay, so I'm gonna talk about that for a second. What I understand from Jay-Z's early work was that he, him and Dr. Dre were the primary beneficiaries of the deaths of Tupac and Biggie. Um, After that time period, like around 96, 97, there was an extraordinary void in the music industry that was filled by people that probably wouldn't exist otherwise. These people include people that made some real shitty music, and I'm looking at you, Master P. Um, until a little bit later, and then things start to pick up. You know, with Birdman and stuff like that, and Nelly, and but there was a void that Jay Z filled, and then by the time that more talented artists started coming to play, he already made a name for himself. So that's how I look at his early stuff. I didn't really look at it as I'm so rich. Like I remember like Can I Get a was a good song. I remember he did like he sampled from Orphan Annie when it's a hard knock life for us. Like really? So that's kind of how I look at his career and being a billionaire, and so is Dr. Dre. Um, it's These are the primary beneficiaries. Dr. Dre is very talented. Let's start there. However, you're not really going to get far when you are in direct battle and direct conflict with both Snoop Dogg and Tupac at the same time. You just it's not Tupac was too well loved to really just be in open defiance against him, and you're really not going to bring someone on like Eminem, who is also talented but he's white, when Pac is around and who is a beast, and he would just take him down while people are on the fence about this new white rapper. So, but he's gone, and so was the beef, and then Dre is like a still Dre day, and then he just became a billionaire after that. So yeah, that's how I look at that. I don't look at him as somebody who's like, I got more money and I want you to sing about, It's like that song, You Ain't Nothing But a Hoochie Mama, and the women who were hoochies were bumping that song. It's like, oh damn, he's talking about you, right?
That's what you are. That's what you are. Take that goddamn passport, bro, shirt off, and go get you a shirt that say "nigga on vacation," because
I don't know. I mean, it seems like passport bros have the right to define themselves. And if they want to say I'm a passport bro because I'm a person with a passport, then that's fine.
Goddamn year, and you think you some goddamn passport bro. You ain't no goddamn passport bro. You are a nigga on vacation. That's what you are. That's what you are. And it's fine. It's fine. Ain't nothing wrong with being a nigga on vacation.
Okay.
Listen, guys, we gotta just be what we are. We gotta stop being delusional. It's 52 weeks in a year. You traveling 2 weeks out of the country a year, and the other 50 weeks a year, you here. You ain't no goddamn passport bro. You are a nigga on vacation. That's what you are. If you ain't traveling at least 6 weeks out of the goddamn year, out of the country, stop.
Okay, so you're trying to redefine passport bros. I guess okay. It really don't matter because MTR is not a passport bro, and you were responding to him. So there really wouldn't be a reason to redefine passport bros when you're talking about a person who's not a password bro. So you're not responding to your okay. When you say you're clarifying what your previous video was about, no, you're redefining what your previous video was about. Because your previous video was about MTR, who's not a password bro. So why do you need to refine the definition of password bro? Nevertheless, you were attacking the notion that life overseas is better than life domestically. And when you're not restrained by income qualifications, it is. It is. And you haven't been able to successfully negate that. You're just telling the people who want to live overseas that they not living overseas.
Calling yourself a goddamn passport bro. Because she ain't. The whole point of my video.
Thanks. Okay. Why don't you tell me something else I already know? In fact, you don't even have to like redo the sentence when you say that. You can pretty much just put anybody's name or most people's name in the place of MTR and then say you won't be able to do that. For example, what LeBron James is doing, you won't be able to do. Okay. I kind of knew that, but okay. What a young Michael Jordan is doing, you won't be able to do. This is true. I cannot fly. This is true. I'm ill capable of jumping to the point where it defies the law of gravity. I am not capable of doing that. What the heavyweight champion of the world is doing, you won't be able to do. Yes, I am not capable of knocking out each and every single person on the planet. This is true. Thank you for sharing this information with me. Somebody said water's wet. Exactly. Like, okay, not going to be able to do what MTR does. Yes, he's a millionaire, and I am not. So, thanks for sharing. I don't. It is hard. It is hard maintaining masculine frame, and I hope he has more videos on that because I'm talking about in your dealings with women. You're gonna make a mistake. You're gonna make a mistake from time to time. Now, his philosophy of maintaining masculine frame, no matter what, is sound until something like that happens. You make a mistake, and you have two choices. One is defend that mistake because a true alpha male is never wrong. So you are just doing what he's doing right now, and you're just blustering at that point. Or you admit that you're wrong. For example, say you have to buy something. Let me look around. Let's see. An electric pencil sharpener, right? And let's just say the electric pencil sharpener costs $20 at Target, and it costs $15 at Walmart. So you go to Target. For whatever reason, you got it in your mind that you didn't do the price research. You just go to Target and then you get the $15, or excuse me, you get the $20 pencil sharpener. And then she shows online, says, see, the Walmart right down the street charge $15. Now, from how he's defining masculine frame, and this is how he's behaving now in defining masculine frame. What you do is, I ain't gonna apologize for that. I ain't gonna apologize. I ain't gonna say that, and I'm not saying you should apologize for that because it's really not a big deal. But I'm saying, like, you're going to pretend like you wasn't saying that Target has the better prices, and then you say, no, I'm not saying that it's cheaper at Target. I'm just saying that I don't want to wait in them lines at Walmart. I'm saying that Walmart has long lines with a bunch of fat people and mixed kids. That's what I'm saying, and I don't want to deal with that crap. I don't want to buy a pencil sharpener right next to the expired eggs. I don't want to do that. I don't want to buy a pencil sharpener right next to where a nigga that can't afford real clothes from a real clothing store, buy his kids' clothes. I don't want to do that. I don't want to buy, a place that got popcorn next to the Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I don't want to do that. I mean, yeah, you can make up funny reasons, but the truth, I mean, who wants to spend their life like that?
He is a content creator.
That's my bad. I'm being disrespectful. Y'all super chat me, and I'm not even reading it. My bad. All right. So we have one from Langdon. He says, female emotionalism covered and an over-the-top pseudo-masculinity. Yes. Well, I don't know if it's done out of emotionalism though. I mean, it seems like it's just a strategy, but he's kind of like backed into a corner because once you've taken a stance that you can't back down, and then every hill is going to be the hill that you die on. You ain't never gonna leave Candyland. Yeah, I mean, you can't win. I mean, basically, it's once again changing the environment. This is him just demoralizing the population with information that they already know. Thanks again, Langdon. Appreciate you. Deacon Dave, appreciate you. Says, why do Black people always try to define something that they are not involved with? Yes, Black people are always doing that. Okay, so I'm thinking of like other examples because I mean, until this super chat, I really thought it was a uniquely him thing to do. Maybe. I mean, like, I have strong opinions on certain groups. I'm not really going to say what groups these are. And I'm going to say a group that I don't necessarily have a strong opinion on. I did think that they were a little weird, but I don't know them well enough to definitively say that. And that is Scientologists. But I don't know what they got going on well enough to really like give a definitive thing. I mean, is it different? Yeah, but is it, from what I know, from the surface level stuff that I know, is it absurdly different than what any other minor religion? No, not that I can think of. So I'm trying to think, like, did I ever do that? Give an example of like a Deacon Dave, of a common instance where people do stuff like that. say you're not this to the people who defined what this is? Because I can't say you're not a feminist if if you don't do this. Well, I could say like a person isn't a vegetarian if they sitting there with a pork chop in their hand and a beer bone and some applesauce on their thing. Like I could say that. Yeah, give example. Give example because you're making me think, and that's what you get for the $5. So yeah. Example, tricking and black conservatives. Oh, good examples. Very, very, very good examples. Yes. Yes, we are okay. Perfect examples. Because yes, we are constantly redefining tricking and stuff like that. And we even, redefine everything as it relates to interpersonal interactions with women, whether it's tricking, players, pimp, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Dang, now that you go into it, you know what it was? No, I couldn't find anything because I was thinking of words that were not invented by black people. But yes, when it comes to a word that's invented by black people, there is a lot of fluidity and ambiguity in it. A lot. Um, Tricking is a word that's invented by black people, so is password bros. So absolutely, yeah. You thank you for following through and driving your point home, because in fact, I had a conversation with somebody a year ago on the definition of snitching because he told me that he did some time, and then he said something about snitching, and I was like, so what is that like? Like, and he was like, "What, you don't know what a snitch is?" It's like, dude, I know what a snitch is, but I want to know your definition of snitching because um, y'all seem to have like a very unclearly defined definition of that word. For example, some people believe that snitching is any way, shape, or form appealing to authority. Some people will say that that's snitching, even if you are a victim of a crime. So if you own a corner store and somebody was to rob that corner store and you were to tell the police that, the person robbed the corner store, some would say that's snitching. Others define it as if you are part of a criminal act and you are to snitch on the others who were part of the criminal act with you, then only that's snitching. It's not snitching if, you know, only criminals can snitch. Civilians are not snitching. They're just protecting their interests by appealing to the authorities. So that's why I'm like, what's your definition? It's very unclear. It's also very unclear that some people snitching is cool and they're cool, but others it's a terrible thing. Like nobody called Nino Brown a snitch when he just threw Kareem Akbar under the bus, and nobody called in real life nobody called Frank Lucas a snitch when he snitched on everybody, including his whole damn family. Like, but he's not a snitch. He just went to jail. Nothing happened to him, and then he got out, and he lived to talk about it. Same as Rico on Paid in Full. It's based on a real person who snitched, went to jail, got out. Like, see, they don't actually get snitches. They don't actually get stitches. Anyway, I'm not even going to talk about the dysfunctionality of niggas. Let's just continue.
That makes his money offline. You are a forklift driver.
Okay, I guess I'm a forklift driver.
Yeah, he came in there. It's that one. Shut your ass up. If you move your ass to Thailand and became a forklift operator down there, they're going to pay your ass 18. What MTR is doing is smart. It's the same reason I got the fuck out of New York. Why the hell am I going to be up there paying all those high-ass state taxes and all these high-ass, just food and...
Okay. MTR is really no smarter than the forklift driver. Maybe even not as smart as the forklift driver. And this isn't a shot at MTR. But MTR has been capable of moving to Thailand for quite some time. So he's slow to realize. Unless what he says is true, and that is, it is a better place after 40. But yeah, I mean, a forklift driver that can't move versus an MTR that can move is not a question of intelligence. It's not. It's a question of ability. He don't have the ability to do it. This is going real left. Like this is not going good for AMS. All right.
In a cheaper state. That's why the fuck I got out of that.
He shines his forehead. He shines his forehead. Just so you know, when I seen this, I was cracking up too. There's I seen it like at Albertsons. There at a grocery store. There's a thing. There exists forehead wipes that shines as you wipe. I think it only works on light skin people. And I think that AMS uses those. I think that before every show, he gives his head a good shining. He either used those wipes and wipe his head and, like Daniel's son, he wax on, wax off the top of his head. Or he puts his head in that thing at the bowling alley before every show. He walks into the bowling alley and they say, "Hi, AMS," because they know him because he does it all the time. Hey, how's it going? Aura. And then he puts his head in the bowling ball shiner, and then he does a show. He does that, or he goes to his local train station and he finds a shoe shine boy or man. And he says, "Well, you know what this is," and he's sitting there getting his head shined by the shoe shine boy. And granted, shout out to whatever method you do. If I didn't have hair, if I didn't have a full head of of luscious hair with the crispy hairline, I would probably I would ask you, where can I get a shine? Do you just walk through the car wash? Like, what the fuck? I would actually inquire how to do that. But yeah, there you go. It shines so brightly.
Fucking New York. The state tax 13% up there is 5% here. Why the hell would I want to be up there? So me chastising him for that would be like me. I did the same. If I wasn't my money offline, I would have stayed my ass in New York, because a personal trainer can't make what they make up there down here. Nowhere near. So at that point, it does me no good to move. If you make your money offline, then yes, it's smart to move so your money can go farther.
So your whole last video, you just negated your whole last video to MTR. I can't even say that right. You just negated like the whole premise of your last video. In your last video, you used the same analogy, but you said staying in New York because you make $150 an hour. But I digress. You just excused MTR's action. So you're changing what you're saying. Because before it was like, you shouldn't go because this is the greatest country in the world, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now it's more to the effect of you should go, but you can't. You can't. And I just feel the need to tell you that. Okay.
Now, you think you gonna start and become a content creator, but you suck. You ain't MTR. And you got 1,200 subscribers. It's over for you. You suck.
I'm not all in like MTR. Meaning that my face isn't out there and, I bored half the time and stuff like that. I haven't made the equipment investment. I haven't, done all the stuff that's necessary. Maybe I wouldn't suck. Maybe I would. I don't know. So I don't make enough on this page, and thanks to the people who do donate, but I don't make enough on this page to sustain overseas. And right now, at least, my job bounds me to 50 states. I understand these things. I'm not a forklift operator, but I understand what you're saying. I don't understand why you're saying it.
You always have sucked, and you still suck. And when you go to Thailand and start making content, you still gonna suck because you suck. So for all you guys, if you suck here, you're gonna suck there. Because you suck lying. If you gotta go down there and be a plumber or an electrician or a farmer, anything, the money you make down there is gonna have you as broke average there, which means that the women are not going to treat you better because you don't have that leverage. Down there, you're gonna be just another broke nigga with an accent. I need you to know that.
So according to him, we need to know not to be broke in a developing country. Thanks a lot. Thank you for sharing that with me. Because I didn't know that. Because I didn't know that third world living was bad for the people who lives in the third world. I did not know that. Because before this, I was going to go to a titty village in Titty, Africa. And I was going to be a software engineer in the titty village. I was going to go hut to hut, knock on that piece of cloth that they call a door and say, hey, know anybody that's hiring for software developers? I know that there's no Wi-Fi here because there's no electricity. Yeah, there's no software because there's no computers. But I was actually going to try to do that. And then they were going to tell me, and I didn't foresee this until Alpha Male Strategy just told me, no, only the best hunters get the wives. Like, oh, wait a minute. So I would be broke there? Like, I didn't know that just now. I thought that I could take this trade to the titty villages. And it paid the same. Thank you. Yeah, it's okay.
Shout out O'Shea and MTR for both giving me credit and them both saying in their response videos that they don't think what I was saying was to discourage guys because I want them to spend money with me and all this. They both said that. They said AMS just speaks what's on his mind. So I appreciate them because that speaks to a credibility about me. I don't just say something because I'm trying to get y'all money. You ain't my goddamn target audience. No way. I ain't even got to look at my.
No, they just won't benefit from the smoke. They just won't benefit from the smoke. I mean, O'Shea is not going to be against your message because, you know, he wants brothers to stay back in America and negotiate with Keisha, even though he's not. In MTR, he's just not about that smoke life. Like, I mean, you know, he will if he have to, but only if it's absolutely positively necessary that he has to, like in a Pearl situation. MTR is smart too. He only he picks his battles in a Machiavellian way, and that is, you know, important enough to fight and easy enough to win. This AMS situation, AMS situation is neither. And he understands even just to have the fight. But is it important enough for MTR to win? No. See, MTR is brilliant, which, you know, his success is a reflection of his brilliance. But he understands that everybody is one Chris Rock slap away from ruin. If you don't pick your beefs right, you are one Chris Brown slap away from complete and total utter destruction. So be careful who you smack. Only smack somebody if, you know, if it's important enough to do it and easy enough to get away with. Will Smith actually thought that it was both, and it was neither. And that's why his career now sucks. It sucks. I've seen him in some, like, I've seen him on some, I've seen his face in a fucking thumbnail, and he was like in Antarctica or some shit like that. He was like in a snow blizzard, doing some reality show because he sucks now. He's like one of the highest paid actors ever, like, and now he's just shit, all because you slapped the wrong dude. So MTR is smart. He's not gonna attack AMS just because. AMS is funny as hell, and he's a master roaster, and you know he just destroys people like Steve the Dean and shit like that. But even outside of that, like, I mean, even if he wins, even if MTR wins, he loses because he would have gained nothing. Like, there's no new audience members, and like from that, it's just like you, a person that shit on AMS.
Analytics, because I already know, as a dating coach, it's always going to be 16 to 24. I don't even got to look at it. Common sense tell you that. 35-year-old man with 3 kids with 2 the damn dating coach for, other than just, you know.
When you were 35, did you have 3 kids and 2 divorces? When MTR was 35, did he have 3 kids, 2 divorces? When O'Shea was 35, did he have 3 kids, 2 divorces? When BMT, so yeah, I mean, I don't know Outside of Fantastic, I think he only had the one divorce and two kids. And I'm sure he would still listen to you. Like, I mean, that's just the way the market is. Many guys in their 30s at 35 are still dating. I mean, by your logic, you should be a grandfather by now. My grandfather was a grandfather by the time he was your age. Um, he was my grandfather by the time he was your age. So yeah, let's not get into this. Now you're painting like a stray 35-year-old. Like, yeah, this is the thing. Like a large number of men in America, when they turn 35, they get two divorces and three kids, and they're off the market. So why would they listen to you? No, you're creating a stray market group. You appeal to single men who are looking for techniques on how to be players of any age demographic.
Curious what he gonna say. Motherfucker goddamn got more dating experience than me. Shit. Next, guys.
Okay, you really told on yourself. You really, really, really told on yourself. So, you're saying that a man who's 35 with two kids, or excuse me, with three kids and two divorces, has more dating experience than you. Okay, he's 11 years younger than you. So, and he was married twice, meaning that he was dating a lot more than you while married than you were dating while single. And you're selling us strategy? Make that make sense. And I know you're bringing out a straight scenario. I know you're being hyperbolic, but that didn't land well.
Some of you guys need to, and this go to my last point, need to stop. Many guys, only a small.
Once again, semantics.
Selection of fewer guys who are like make their money offline can even claim to be passport bros.
Okay, here's the thing. Call it what you want. Call it what you want. There's several dreams that people have, that men have, of all age demographics. And we're going to stick to the ones that relate to the type of relationship life that they want. Now you have the standard, and that's the American dream. And this is the wife, the kid, and the white picket fence, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's dream one. That is the goal that men have, meaning that when men approach women, they're doing it with that goal in mind. When men go to school, when they pick their job and career, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, they're doing it with that particular goal in mind. That's one of them. Another one is to, what's it? Let's just call it a Pookie player. And the Pookie player is just like Tupac. Shout out to him. Rest in peace, Tupac. From a nobody nigga to a big man on the block. He's Mr. Local Celebrity, addicted to moving keys, most hated by enemies, escaping the luxury. Hookers be falling down. So that's a separate fantasy. And then there's a third one, and that is the non-Pookie player. And this is more to the Marcus Graham types from Boomerang. This is the clean cut, charismatic, handsome dude that runs through all the ladies at his all black, what was it called? Strange agency, advertising agency. Or Lady Eloise, whatever it was called, yeah. So that's the dream of some men too. That's the fantasy of some men too. That's their version of the American dream. Now, unfortunately, because really that's the last two is what AMS was selling on how to be effective in that. He was being like the Marcus Graham type. He's like, this is how you be effective at that. The problem is that nowadays, if you hit on your boss, you will get fired. If you smash your boss, eventually you will get fired. If you smash your employees, eventually you will get fired. The notion of the office player is dead and gone. That's not happening. You're not going to. You're not just going to dick down a whole office. You're just not. If Boomerang happened in modern times, first of all, you wouldn't even hit on a woman that you've seen in the elevator of the same building that you work in. You wouldn't even take that risk. He walked up to her. He's like, oh, you going to the 7th floor? I'm going to the 7th floor. He's like, oh, he's like, I'm Marcus Graham. She's like, oh, you're Marcus Graham? And then she's like, oh, yes, I'm your boss. And then he kept pushing. You're not going to go on a company trip to Louisiana for whatever reason and rub your dick on your boss's ass. And she rewards you by fucking you. Your old ass boss is not going to invite you to her house on Lavender Hill. You fuck her. And then say that you're going to be that you slept your way to head of marketing. And the actual head of marketing just laughs and says, oh, no. See, the office player doesn't exist. And since we're in the spirit of telling people that, you can't win, you're never going to be a passport, bro. Listen, you're never going to be a player like players existed back in the day. Never! Just like according to AMS, you're going to be a forklift driver for the rest of your life and you're never going to retire. And take your retirement abroad. That's never going to happen. I'm going to make this assertion. You are never going to be a player like players existed in the 90s. You never is that going to happen. Okay, glad I drove that point home.
Most guys are just traveling. That does not make you a passport bro. All right. So when I saw all the comments and stuff, and I'm like, there's no way in the hell this many guys can afford to travel and be passport bro. The numbers just don't say that. It's impossible. I know what the medium income in America is. You know, you hear all these guys and they bitch and complain about women want 100K man, 100K man. It's amazing how guys so come up with all this money to become passport bros. But when when women say they want a man to make 100K, that's 2% of a man is men under 29.
Well, you don't actually need 100K to live abroad. There are a lot of ex-military dudes like Skylar Jerome who moved to another country. A lot. Like, if anything, moving abroad is like kind of what you do if you don't have six figures. Like if you're a wounded warrior or a person on disability, if I were on disability, that would be what I do. Like that's a better place to live when you're not a millionaire. Or excuse me, making 100K. But okay.
But they got a lot of money to travel. That's neither here nor there. The point what I'm trying to say, guys, is guys, I bet probably 1 or 2%. 1 or 2. The average job gonna give you 2 weeks off a year, 2 to 4 weeks a year, just depending. I know they got all these mental health days now and stuff because people are just, you know, that's what the world we live in. So I don't know. Some of y'all might got 3 months off, right? All these mental health days. I did a mental health day, all this other shit. But by and large, guys, we gotta be logical. You're not gonna be a content creator. You suck. You're gonna work a typical 9 to 5 job that's gonna give you anywhere from 2 weeks to 4 weeks off a year. Even if it's 4 weeks off a year. And I'm talking about, I understand, guys, there's some jobs that have more flexibility than that. I'm talking about the typical job. Y'all know what the hell I'm talking about, man. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all act like y'all was born up in all these jobs that got all these vacations and stuff. Guys, I know it's jobs that give you 3 months off a year. I know teachers get the summer off. All this, y'all know the typical job, man. You get 2 vacations a year, 2 weeks off a year. That's the majority of jobs. The majority of them.
Mm-hmm.
But you come to YouTube and you think everybody gonna be an influencer or a software engineer and be making money offline, and it's just not
both
true.
of those things. I'm both of those things just pointed out. It's not really relevant, but you know, since we're in the spirit of saying irrelevant stuff, I'm both of those things.
You're gonna be the next Austin Holloman. You gonna be some.
Well, Austin Holloman, he's not cutting hair abroad. Because, by the way, I was going to start a business for software engineers. So y'all remember I used to date a woman in Africa, and or excuse me, from Africa, and she told me how much software engineers make where she's from and her neighboring country, the neighboring country of Nigeria, and it was something like ridiculously low. It was like $9 a day or something like that. I intended to start a business where you can basically have a bunch of people. So get a bunch of, you know, local engineers together, and some things, this is hard to explain when you're not in the industry. Some things and development just falls under the busy work category, where it's redundant, where it's just you just rather not do it, and it takes a long time to do. And if you could pay somebody $9 and have them do it, your day will be free. So that was my business idea, and this was way back when. and it didn't work because there's all type of security reasons why you can't just. I don't want to get into it. It just didn't work. But the moral of the story is they got like $9 a day. So no, I'm not gonna move to Africa and make $9 a day. It's like the beginning and end of that. I didn't really need him to tell me this. So yeah.
Something, but you ain't gonna be the next Austin Holloman. I'm sorry.
My haircut costs $40. I know prices vary depending on where you live. Where I live, it costs $40. I think I got cut in the Dominican for about 20 or something. So you do take a pay cut in that industry, but I also feel that if somebody like Austin Holloman were to move to a country that has a black population, but not his home country, he's going to take a significant pay cut. Not just the fact that the haircuts cost half as much. It's because your clientele is going to be significantly lessened because you haven't created a local reputation for yourself. You moved away from your reputation for cutting hair. So you will lose that unless the locals just want to get their hair cut by an American, and that's like local bragging rights. Outside of that, it's not going to happen, especially in a country like Dominican Republic or something like that, where they have a cultural connection to. They're just better barbers. I'm putting it like that. No offense to you American barbers, but yeah. Somebody said code would have been filled with scamware. That's funny. Uh, it was a good idea, just poorly. The logistics just didn't work out, and that happens. But if it did work, then I would be out the country. Oddly enough.
You're gonna be what you is right now. And lastly, guys, and I got a point. Stop asking me to just try it. Stop asking me to try.
Okay. I'm not going to ask you to just try because I know that just like the forklift operator, your bread and butter is connected to the U.S. Your bread and butter is connected to the U.S. So I know that you're not going to try it. Like, see, here's the thing. It's not a matter of people actually moving. It's a matter of people fantasizing about having a different life goal that doesn't require strategy, domestic strategy. Whether you only travel for 2 weeks or 6 weeks or something like that, your goal, a young man's life goal, moved away from being the white picket fence, from the domestic pookie or the pookie player to the regular player. Like, now it's shifted. Now there's another alternative. It's like, okay, I know that there's a land of milk and honey and sometimes syrup. Yeah. I know that there's a land of milk, honey, and syrup. Now my life goal is, how do I get there? Point blank, period. I know a place ain't nobody ghosting. Ain't no bitches roasting. I know a place ain't no dinner whoring. Uh-huh. Ain't no fat bitches snoring. Uh-huh. I know a place Ain't no Me Too cases. Uh-huh. Ain't no smiling faces. Uh-huh. Ain't no fucking racist. Uh-huh. I know a place. No colorism crying. Uh-huh. No ugly lying. Uh-huh. Ain't no sex denying. Uh-huh. I know a place. See, he don't like that. He don't like that. Men, even the forklift operator that you're trying, he's not looking for strategies to get with local women. He's looking for strategies to get out of the fucking country. Yeah, he's here, but he's here looking for strategies how to get out the fucking country. And that is where you come in saying, "Oh, you ain't gonna get out," because you know that men are looking for strategies to get the fuck out. What I told y'all about the Africans, that's a strategy for me to get the fuck out. I like my job. I can talk shit on YouTube. I'm on the clock right now for another hour. As long as I get my work done on time, I can do that. In fact, when y'all don't hear from me for a while, it's because of that. But would I leave my job for because right now I have what's called a work from home job. There's work from home and then there's remote. I mean, really, there's like local remote and then there's international remote, but I actually have to be at the place that I live, more or less. Um, would I leave my current job for a job that is internationally remote? Yes. Even if I have to work twice as hard, and even if I made half as much, yes, I would. Yes, I would. So men are looking for strategies now, even in the 16 to 24, even the 16 to 24-year olds. They're looking for strategies to get the fuck out. Them becoming content creators is them looking for strategies to get the fuck out. And whether they are successful or not doesn't change the fact that they are looking for something different than what you're offering. And that is what is hitting your bottom line. And that is why you're on here bitching. I mean, it just shines your forehead to think that, young men are saying, how can I get out? Because it's better to be a 50K dude in Thailand than to be a 100K dude in America. And I understand if that's what you're doing. I understand if that's your job and you can't leave either because it'll go against your brand. So I'm not going to ask you to leave.
Please. AMS, you got to try it. You never tried it. Guys, that's going to sound arrogant, but I don't give a fuck because I got to just say it.
Okay, go for it.
Y'all all say they want the 6'4" millionaire. They want the 6'4" millionaire. They want the 6'4" millionaire. What the fuck you think I am?
I'm assuming a 6'4" millionaire.
What the hell you think I am? They just want the tall millionaire. They just want the tall millionaire.
Okay. I'm going to get back to this because there's a lot there, and I'm going to reply to this comment. Somebody says your company doesn't let you work remotely. Well, okay. Um, Yes and no. If I were to go somewhere for a couple of months, which I did when I went to Florida, and that's perfectly fine. Okay, it's not necessarily enforced, but they want you to work in the place that you assign. And here's why. Here's why. And understand that this is just to avoid being hustled. They pay you according to where you live. And this is something that happens like day one. Day one, where do you live? And this is for the people who never work remote and but would like to. Where do you live? And then this happens right before the salary negotiations. So if you live in Chickasaw County, Mississippi, USA, then they're not going to pay you as much if you lived in Manhattan, New York. So what they don't want is for you to make up an address, make up your grandmama address in Manhattan, New York. They pay you Manhattan, New York money, but you live in Chickasaw County, Mississippi, USA. So if they are actually on their shit and they're paying people to, look that up and like, hey, you pinging from Chickasaw County a lot for a nigga that's supposed to live in New York. We paying your ass as if you live in New York. Don't tell me you bringing New York money to Chickasaw County. So really, it's about that. But can I never take my laptop to Florida or Texas from time to time, where I have family? No, it's not that serious. Can I take it out the country? Oh fuck no. All right, somebody says depends on if you negotiate well. I get Philly in Georgia. I don't know if it's if that's a huge gap. Um, Whenever they have their like, listen, it's not instant, but every now and again, companies just get like a wild hair up their ass, and they want to raise the stocks, or they want to just make the company look good, or just look like they know what they're doing. Every now and again they'll have a crackdown, and that crackdown will come like right when you feel comfortable in your job, and they'll say, wait a minute. But I don't know if Philly has in Georgia, because one's a city and the other's a state. But I don't know if the pay difference is significant enough for them to bitch about that. That's why I made like an extreme case of New York, which is probably the most expensive place, and Chickasaw County, which is a place that I made up, which might not even be real. I got it from Django. But if somebody lived there, I'm pretty sure that they would make a software engineer there would make less than one in New York. That's why I went that route. Because that's like extreme difference. So, but yes, so for those of you who know, that's how it works. If you get tempted to, when they say, where do you live? And you know that they're going to pay you based on what you live, based on where you live, I would say lie at your own risk. You could say that you live one place, and people get away with it. People get away with it. They get that extra pay, but sometimes they do crack down.
Now, what the hell do I look like?
Okay, and this is where people like him. I'm gonna go back because I interrupted myself, but I want to drive this point home so I could just hit it with the perfect timing, the perfect comedic timing. Oh, and I'm gonna refine that "I'll Take You There" song.
But I don't give a fuck because I gotta just say it. Y'all all say they want the 6'4" millionaire. They want the 6'4" millionaire. What the fuck you think I am?
What the fuck do you think MTR is? See, y'all see how I did that? How I redid that with the perfect timing? What the fuck do you think I'm is? What in the fuck do you think MTR is? You are a hairless MTR. You are a hairless MTR. So, apparently, things are better for 6'4" millionaires in Thailand than it is here because, all right, we got a smart ass here. We got a nigga with a ruler here. Okay, MTR is only 6'2". He is 6'2" and 2 inches of hair. Now what? So, what the fuck do you think MTR is? I'm 6'0" with 2 inches of hair. And there you have it. So you see, he said it just emphatically. But notice notice how he said men are saying that women want this particular type of dude. I think that men who are not 6'4" millionaires assume that 6'4" millionaires are doing better than they're doing. Women are really everywhere and nowhere with what they want. But what they enjoy most is the right and ability to shift at any time. Let's not pretend that 6'4" millionaires are not getting shot down. Unless you're dealing with someone who is extraordinarily average at best, you're getting shot down. Or you are getting into relationships that are so lopsided and so unsubstantial that it really don't matter. But even a 6'4" millionaire is not getting a baddie circulation. They're just not. I'll put it like this, and this is going to just shit in the face of a lot of dudes who are the thing that women say that they want online. And really, MTR shits in the face of that too. And so does Austin Holloman, really. And that's why he's coming out against it. The truth of the matter is, in many countries, you can do better as a 5'4" thousandaire. In many countries in the world, you're better off in that country as a 5'4" thousandaire than you are in the U.S. as a 6'4" millionaire. As crazy as that sounds, that is the fucking truth. Name a country where bitches get proposed to by Michael B. Jordan and they say no. Name a non-Western country where shit like that happens. But I'm tall, in shape, and rich. Where in the fuck else do that happen? That's an assignment. Y'all not typing it. That's an assignment. Type it. Type a place. Type a place. A non-Western place that's like that. If you don't know, say you don't know, but say something. Because I'm waiting for a response. Y'all don't have a place. There's no place. I'm gonna say Killmonger got shot down. Hell yeah. I'll do you one better. Name a place where women are openly saying it ain't nothing like shooting down a popping nigga. Name a place. So AMS, let's not pretend like there don't exist those who don't fucking maximize their dildo setting every time they shoot a nigga like you down. Let's not pretend like that don't happen. Let's not pretend. But take your 6'4" millionaire ass to Kenya and say you from Russia and see what results you get there. Listen, at the end of the day, tall, well-to-do guys are still moving abroad. They're still moving abroad. I mean, we live in a place where fucking bitches divorce Brad Pitt. Bitches divorce Mike Tyson. How many times Eddie Murphy been divorced? So yeah, okay, I get it. You're a 6'4" millionaire. You don't okay. Mr. 6'4" millionaire. Let me ask you this. How many times have a woman who you was smashing how many times have your in-house pussy begged you to bring her little sister in so you can have two in-house pussies? How many times that happened to you? I can tell you the person in the Philippines that it did happen to wasn't a 6'4" millionaire. So miss me with this madness.
What the hell you think I am? They just want the tall millionaire. They just want the tall millionaire. What the hell do I look like? So, to quote one of my greatest characters, Walter White of Breaking Bad, I am the one who knocks. I am the danger. I am the apex predator. I don't need to go no fucking Thailand to get no leverage. I get it right here in America, baby. I am the one who knocks. I don't gotta go to a fucking third world country to get no fucking leverage and submission. I get it right here, baby, and I'm out this motherfucker.
What's Richie Mac's wife's name? I would like to see you with an American her. Clicked on the thing by mistake, but I would like to see you get like an American her, whatever Richie Mac's, that like cooks you grits every morning, that cooks your grits and suck your dick while you're eating the grits each and every single morning, like it's a routine. Like brushing your teeth and shit. Like I'd like for you to show me the American. Where's your receipts? I'm saying that it's a lot more difficult to. Okay, here's what I'm saying. The dudes who do the travel content well show massive, spectacular receipts on a consistent basis. Well, let's not go there. All right. Anyway, let's since his claim was my demographic, my audience is 16 to 24-year-olds. Let's see if his video titles cater to the 16 to 24-year-olds. Somebody said, "Where's AMS getting submission from in America?" Hmm. I don't know. I mean, it's. Listen, if you're going to play American games, it's better to have a strategy than to not have a strategy. However, even the person with the best strategy is going to do worse than they would with no strategy at all overseas. Or I should say with a poor strategy. There really isn't a no strategy at all. Like, all right, so let's see. Best date locations. Oh yeah, that's really for 16 to 24-year-olds, right? I mean, you're a 6'4" millionaire telling, broke 24-year-olds who you say is your demographic, what's the best dating location? Let's see. How women treat me now versus when I lived in the basement. So that they treat broke niggas like shit. Like I could tell by the thumbnail. Like and this is 8 days ago. You are aware that they treat broke 16 to 24-year-olds like shit versus how they treat you now, and you're still trying to teach them strategy. I guess the strategy that you should be teaching them is how to become a 6'4" millionaire. Oh yeah, and what did MTR mention? Well, I guess your message on what a 40-year-old man didn't mention is pertinent to a 16-year-old. Okay, I got you. All right. Let's see. Surefire ways to know if she's attached. Okay, that's for all age. That's for all ages. Financial freedom isn't free. Okay, that's for all ages as well. When did the gender divide begin? This is all ages. Like, where the fuck is the 16 to 24-year-old stuff? Meg the Stallion, FAFO. Okay. Uh, Gaslighting is no longer working. This yeah, okay. How to get your credit score up? Um, my credit score was shit at 16 to 24. Because credit hadn't really had time to develop yet. So, okay. Once again, that's something for all ages. So, just to be clear, your page is for all ages. Whether it lands in one demographic versus another, and you admit that you didn't even like look at it, but yeah. Okay, so It says men are choosing peace. Okay, so I guess he's doing a breakdown of another guy who's over 24 and saying his channel is for that demographic. So your channel is for everybody, or every man, I should say. Women are crashing out. Yeah, that's not age specific. Like, so miss me with this whole I'm only talking to broke 24 and unders. Can't find a job. A man's greatest asset in the dating game. Okay. Um, things your daddy never taught you. So he's responding to someone else. Okay. Apparently, every woman is a baddie. Well, if baddie is a mentality, then unfortunately, many Western women are. Oh, it looks like I watched that one. I probably did it because I think I remember covering her. I probably did it to get her link. Older women just don't get it. Yep, that's a message to 18 to 24-year-olds. Okay. There's a silver lining. Once again, you're showing past and present. Back then they didn't want me. Now I'm hot. They all on me. And I'm not against self improvement. The problem is that the problem for him is that many guys are improving themselves so that they can move abroad. Because they're like, okay, if I'm going to be a 6'4" millionaire, it's still better to not be one here. Women are now ready to be pick me's. Okay, once again, not age specific. Oh, crap. Oh, too bad this is members only. My mindset at every stage in life 20s, 30s, 40s. Wow. Wow. Oh, okay. Evolution of the red pill. I'm selling them dreams. I'm not saying you're doing that. Listen, of all the dating coaches, you're the best. I'm just saying, like, okay, we're not reaching over to shit on you. You reached over to shit on Passport Bros. So, I mean, you're gonna get pushback. That's just is what it is. All right, how to remain mysterious. Once again, that's not age specific. How to manipulate women, or how women manipulate men. Once again, this is not a. So, just to be clear, there's nothing really in his channel that suggests that he is limited audience. Nothing. So, I'm going to do one more thing because I got to go. Um, oh shit! No wonder my numbers went down. MTR is live, and apparently Coach Greg Adams is mad at him. Oh, okay. Um, so let's take a look at Game Abroad's receipts. Because, yeah, let's do that. And that's just because he came up on my feed now. Hit the like button, people. All right, his last video is called Dating Single Mother. She knows the way around my heart. Okay, let's take a look at this. And then we'll look for the video where, a cooperative chick was, let's see.
Yeah, man, cooking with Game Abroad, man. You know, we're gonna call this thing.
Oh, wait a minute.
You know, cooking abroad, cooking with game. You know, you feel me? Yeah, man. I don't know, man. I guess girls like to get out in the kitchen, man. I stand correct, man. I didn't think that was in a.
I can't tell from our streamers. This bitch fat.
Yes, it is, man. I baby love coming over and cooking for us. Cooking for me, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, man, I just moved into a bigger apartment. That's why it probably looks a little different to y'all. You know what I'm saying? I'm still in the same building.
Okay. I can't tell because her arm is there, and it looks like the shirt may be baggy, but the face and the kid. All right, fellas. Leave your fucked up standards at home when you go to other countries. Leave your fucked up standards at home when you go to these other countries. You could do better. What the fuck? What the fuck are you doing getting with and kid? What in the fuck? Oh, but she could cook. All they could cook. That's the only way they eat. The fuck? Leave your fucking Mississippi standards or where the fuck you come from at the TSA. Leave it with the fucking TSA agent. Don't bring it abroad. What the fuck? Trying to show off wide ass like it's attractive. Damn. And this isn't me just like I didn't wake up this morning like, I'm gonna fuck with Game Abroad, but here I am. And the reason is because I can't stand when niggas fucking go abroad with no damn standards. None. It fucking piss in the pool. See if this is a pattern. Yeah, she got the wrinkle belly. I think that's the same chick. Oh god damn! Damn! She looked like a syrup woman. What the fuck? So this is just the same chick, different angles. Oh god. Fellas, leave your fucked up standards at home with you. I do remember seeing when I was in Colombia. I do remember seeing the fruit headed chicks. I like fruit headed people. Okay, so I clicked on this one before. Let's see what's going on here. Oh wait, let's see this. Is that the same chick? All right, I don't even want to click it. Let me click here.
All right. So this seems like it might be a newer club.
All right, it got Oh shit, I was there. I was at the clock tower. For those of you who find yourself in Cartagena, the clock tower is where the pros are. Actually, I don't think that these are pros though. Most women you see there are not going to be pros, just so you know. You'll know it when you see them because they come up to you and, to solicit themselves. These are people minding their own business, look like it's a festivity of some sort. Um, but if you're there and you're wondering where they are, they're at the clock tower. How do I know? Because the clock tower is a regular place during the day, and then at night, if you just get it there during the day, at night you'll slowly see it change. But that doesn't seem to be the case here. So yeah, I just found myself in the wrong place, wrong time. But see, why not her? She got a chin. But is that me? Oh no, that's not. All right. I thought I was in the background. Like, it'd be funny if you was there filming at the same time as that I was there. But no, it's not me. Anyway, let me get out of here. Leave your standards where you came from. Read some of your comments. All right. It says CGA has become Tommy Sotomayor. Really? Great, talented, but no more new information. Okay, why are you shitting on it, bro? That's funny. All right, let's see. Now that they chase down folks to complain about stolen quotes, Negro Highlander. Oh, so you're saying that? Yeah, Tommy Sotomayor, like he always like got into it with people over bullshit and make like lifelong, including myself, and make like lifelong enemies and stuff because he feels like if he can't profit with you, then he'll profit off you. And really, he'll do both. Like eventually, he's just going to wind up trying to profit off of you. Like he started off cool with a Quasi 100, then that went south. He started off cool with Tariq Nasheed, then that went south. And it's always like something like why I'm a better YouTuber than you. And nigga, you're not a YouTuber. You're a fucking OnlyFans model. So yeah. Michael Jordan is 6'6". Is a 6'6" billionaire, and his wife left him and took half. Yeah, exactly. So, like, I don't know how tall Jeff Bezos is. Like, I mean, the height is not going. You're not going to height or money your way out of modern women. You're just not. And I find AMS funny because he is funny, but he's tripping. It really is. I mean, listen, I'm not a successful channel. And when you compare myself to people like MTR, O'Shea, and AMS, really, but I understand that it is extraordinarily competitive. I would imagine how stressful it would be at any income bracket. I can imagine at how stressful it would be to cross your fingers and look at your check on the 21st of the month, every month. I can imagine that is just like nerve wracking. Like just, even if you make like 100 G's a month, that first month where you get 80K and then 70, you're going to start to get a little antsy because, you're used to making 100K a month. And not only does it goes down very low and very quick. Trust me, I've seen it. It used to be like 300 or 500 people in this chat room, like regularly. It goes down real quick. Sex is not submission. True, but AMS does focus on submission and beauty, which is why I got behind this message. But what I'm saying is that what I'm saying is desperate times, brothers get competitive, and you start to get weird shit like this. You know, you start to you start to be like Rico on the block. You start to be that local big head nigga. Like my pockets started getting light. And Miss just morphed into Leslie Jones. Yeah, his talking points did match hers. It's like you gotta stay here and try to get at my ugly ass. Leslie Jones, you ugly ass shit. Let me see if I can find that song.
Leslie Jones, you ugly as shit, and mad that I don't want to hit. Yeah. Leslie Jones, you ugly as fuck, and mad that I don't want to nut. Yeah. Leslie Jones, you're ugly as sin, and mad that I'll never want in. Leslie Jones, you ugly as hell, and mad that I don't want to smell. Bitch.
Yep. So that's my Leslie Jones song. Leslie Jones is one ugly bitch. All right. Anyway, let's see. Cook you coconut pancakes on a daily. Is that what she do? I never had coconut pancakes. Not that I never had a woman make me pancakes, but I just, for one, I didn't know coconut pancakes is a thing, and for two, I wouldn't eat it anyway because I don't like coconut. But nevertheless, that's what he likes, and he gets it his way. Unless you're moving to a third world and beta buxing. Let's see. Most passport bros won't get women because beauty is universal for the most part. You can't be a loser who gets 0 women in America and move to a place and get a bunch of women. Okay. It depends on why you're getting 0 women in America. If you're getting 0 women in America because you are 600 pounds and broke, then no, that's not going to help you. If you are getting 0 women in America because you're not fun, then yeah, you will go from 0 to a lot real quick. And by not fun, I mean you don't dance, you don't participate in activities where women find fun. If that's your major obstacle, and it is for some men, that's not going to be a problem there. If you have 0 women because you're shy, you're still not going to do very well overseas, but you still will do better, and you're not going to be left at 0. No matter what, they still want you to make the first move. They still want you to initiate contact. Let's see. Yeah, listen, fellas, most reasons, and I'm not going to say 0, but I'm going to say that most reason that some men have like low counts here in the States is for is really for reasons that only matter in the state. And if that's you, then you're going to go from 0 to something abroad. Just is what it is. Like, I mean, yeah. If you have a low count because you're cheap, that's not going to be a problem for Rob. If you have a low count because you are square, that's not going to be a problem. You have a low count because you stutter, that's not going to be a problem. Like, I mean, most things, okay, most problems that will keep a man at 0 are universal. But most people don't suffer from that particular problem. Okay. Listen, here's the deal. Most Indians cannot pull an American woman. Most. I mean, maybe if you grew up here, you have a slight advantage, but not much. Most Indians, and I'm talking about from India, is not going to slay here unless they're dealing with Indian American women whose families know each other. Chances are you're not going to slay here. Do they slay there? Yes. And by there I mean in India, yes. You're measured by a completely different standard. However, some things are just universally bad. And if you suffer from these things, then that's it. But some things are just bad here in the States. Some things are universally bad. And some things are bad abroad, but good in the States. But those are very few. Yeah, I mean, that's is what it is. Like, yeah. Someone say he don't look 6'4". Well, I mean, he might be 6'2" also. And throwing another 2 inches on it, because only people who just so happen to be between 6'2" and 6'4", which is very few people, will actually correct them. Like if a person who's actually 6'4" was to look down 2 inches on them. But yeah, and the broads aren't gonna know either. Most broads are not 6'4", and they're not gonna look at you and say, "Oh, you're not 6'4", so no." You can walk. If you're 6'2", you can lie and say you're 6'4", because bitches just want to hear the number. They just want to have a higher number than they dudes, bitch, or than they dudes, nigga, than their friends, nigga. And still dick police. Yeah, exactly. So I'm like internal revenue. I gotta catch the dick policers. All right. It says I already covered that. The remotely comment. So well, I mean, but somebody made a good point when they say Leslie Jones' counter argument to Passport Bros is the same as as the other ones. But I mean, really, just giving any counter argument at all really says what your intentions are, and your intentions are to discourage. Your intentions are to discourage. I could picture a pimp doing that to a hoe. I picture that. I picture it in my brain. I picture a pimp saying to a hoe, like, "Oh, what, you want to go to college? You want to get off these streets? What you gonna do? You gonna be a lawyer? You gonna be a doctor? But you ain't gonna never be a doctor. You can't win. You just stay on that corner." It seems like, and I don't even think pimps talk like that anymore, because the mating dynamic changed significantly since the pimp and hot era. Beautiful Brazilian women date. Didn't speak English. Here's what happened. Okay, so let's see what happens with a nigga with standards. All right. Okay. This is just coming up on my feed, people. So I haven't seen this, but it seems like this dude got way better standards than that nigga Game Abroad. No offense, no offense. Uh, hey, if I see you in another country, I would politely just inform you not to do that. Hey, funny thought just came to my head. AMS is 6'4" and 46. Really don't mean anything, just a funny thing to think about. He's 6'4" and 46. That's funny. Okay. All right. He looked like hits from the street. Okay, he says, beautiful Brazilian date. Didn't speak English. Here's what happened. Okay, let's see what happened. All right, here we go.
Brazilian girl that doesn't speak any English, and I don't speak too much Portuguese, but we're gonna make it work. Why? Because body language is the best language. Let's go.
Okay, pretty. Not the prettiest woman that I've seen in Brazil, but pretty. And unless I'm missing something, this is prettier than any woman AMS has displayed. So let's continue.
This motherfucker don't miss.
No, he's fucking good.
That motherfucker don't miss, man.
He's good.
In the heat of battle, he don't miss.
No.
In the heat of controversy, he don't miss.
Okay, I'm trying to get a gleam of the body. Definitely better than Game of Bras shit. Cause nigga, have some standards. Have some fucking self-respect. Alright. Let me just take the music off. Seems like she's older than him. See, look at the background. Look at the background couple. Okay. Now remember what I said. When the jeans are above the belly button, they're hiding underbelly. Even though she don't look like she has much of that. Unless she's, yeah, she has it's not bad, but she has a long torso. That's what's going on with her. Oh, she looks pretty here. She looks prettier here. Ooh, damn, this is a nice light for her. Yeah, Gamer Broad, you losing. You losing. Like, homie is out partying with this Brazilian chick, and you out, with a single mom as she fixes you. With an overweight single mom with a wig, while she's fixing you fucking cut up hot dogs. Like, and holy shit. Gamer Broad, do better, homie. I rocks with you, but you gotta do better. Okay, so I'm looking at the background. Okay. Okay, so like AMS, like, I mean, why don't you do a club video and take your 6'4" rich ass, to the club with a chick like this, and and show me what's up, like, or admit that dating is better abroad. Like, I mean, like, or admit that. Unless you're saying homie looks significantly better than you or something. Oh, okay, so it's not above her belly button. Yeah, so she has a long torso. All right. Fuck you, nigga. You ain't stronger than me. All right, let's see. All right, looks like he's off that part with homegirl. All right, so and that's that. So I'm just saying, like, and that's the thing. Like, young dudes are apparently, you're in that demographic, 16 to 24. It's like, listen, 16 to 24, which he might even be 24, but nevertheless, 16 to 24-year-old dude, um, um, they are looking at him and then looking at your stuff, and they are starting to seek alternatives. They have a new strategy. You have what's called a long-term strategy, and that's why I fucks with you. Because the truth of the matter is, I do live here, and I want to reduce my, I want to improve my fucking to jacking off ratio. So I'll listen to you. That doesn't change the fact that many people, because you have a long-term dating strategy, many people are not going to have your same end goal, your same player for life end goal. Men have a different strategy now, and that strategy is how to get the fuck out. It's kind of like going to prison and somebody says, hey, young bro, this is how you survive in prison. You need to sit here and only here. If you sit over there, the Mexicans will get you. If you sit over there, the whites will get you. If you sit over there, the Asians will get you. So you need to sit here and only here. You need to use this phone. Don't borrow no money. Don't get no gambling debts. If somebody steps to you, you knock them out immediately. Everything is a test. It's like, okay, I understand the reality that I am here. And while I am here, I appreciate everything you need to tell me about how to make here as comfortable as possible. However, my overall strategy is to get the fuck out of here. So I'm not saying that your message isn't useless, but that's not my overall strategy to live here for life. My overall strategy is to get the fuck out of here. And this may be a bad thing for young brothers. I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna go. This may be a bad thing for young brothers. Because the overall strategy is to leave. I'm worried, and this is one of the reasons why I really couldn't get down with Passport Bros. And that's because you actually can find a decent chick here. And a message I could never get behind is a man who finds a decent chick in the state, but gambles that they could do better abroad. I can't lead a man down that path. I just can't. You got a cool chick here in the States, she's pretty, smart, fit, feminine, friendly, pick me, and all that shit, But you still on this, yeah, but when I make it, I'm gonna move on and leave her ass for a Brazilian. It's like, I just can't do that. I can't recommend that. You know, if she's checking off the boxes just because she just so happened to have been born here, I wouldn't hold that against her. And I know some passport bros do that. A lot of passport bros do that. Like if Richie Mack met a Taiwanese woman in the place that he came from, that was, you know, on the same level, but he just left to gamble that he might find something better in the home country. I probably because I'm not a gambler like that. Just couldn't recommend it. And I think that that's what a lot of young dudes are on, which would mean that they are not really going to take AMS's strategy seriously, and they should. They should. He has good advice. They're not going to take it because they're like, listen, my end goal is not to be with these chicks. Like, you know, my end goal is to move abroad and get better chicks. All right, let's see. Agreed. All right, appreciate you. Human traffic legislation killed pimping. Yeah. I'll try to find it because every now and again there's something like every now and again I'll turn on the TV and I'll see like a HBO documentary or something like that, and it'll have something on there that'll just be so egregious, and then they take it off and I can never find it again because I don't even know the name of the show or documentary. Like, and there's two things that really just stuck with me of how egregious it was. And I'm just gonna stick with the one because this was about pimping. This was on a pimping documentary. There was this one dude who was going to go away on some human trafficking stuff. And he had like these two white women from Russia, and they worked. I think he owned like a strip club or something like that. Maybe they were hoeing, maybe they weren't. They probably were, right? And if so, they were doing it for themselves, as well as, you know, if he gets his cut because, you know, they're getting their clients from the strip club that he owns. The way they fucking badgered these bitches was ridiculous because they just kept saying no. They just kept saying no. He is not pimping me. I'm not a pro. They just kept saying that. They just kept saying that, and then they turned the camera off, and then they turned the camera back on, and it's like, okay, yeah, he's doing that, and then they arrested him. I'm like, whoa, what the fuck? I was like, that was some ill shit. So you're right. They blurred the definition of human trafficking because really, on paper, pimping isn't illegal, even though tricking and hoeing is. I don't know what aspect of pimping would be illegal or how you can even write a legal definition of it. I just don't know. You're a guy that is allowing his girlfriend or girlfriends to do something illegal while bringing money home to the house. That's, you know, kind of like a drug dealer's girlfriend isn't doing anything illegal either. So I don't get that. I really, really don't. Now, I do know that trafficking involves like state lines and shit like that, but maybe because I live in a very large state, that's rarely the case. I can see if you live in Delaware and you walk 3 steps to the left and you're in a different state. I could get that. You know, you meet a chick online and she's 10 miles away and that's a whole different state. Like if you're in the DMV area or some shit like that. Like I get that. But for the most part, it should not be that. But I know a brother who did a significant amount of time because they decided to throw kidnapping charges on a standard ass whooping. And they do that a lot. I'm drifting off topic, but they do that a lot. You give somebody a standard ass whooping, and if you don't have good lawyer money or you're not savvy, they will say that you kidnapped that person. Because at some point during the ass whooping, you restricting them from where they would rather be, and that's not not getting their ass whooped. So they'll classify that as I shit you not. I shit you not. This is a real life story. And I'm not some, street poofy nigga that, have a bunch of hood tales and shit like that. But I have enough to know when shit resonate with me. Like, damn, that's not kidnapping. Kidnapping is when you have like a white van and you go up to the elementary and you snatch somebody's fucking kid. So yeah, they have a way of really just fucking over brothers. Like they really do. And it's always somebody said it must have been a Becky. What, you talking about ass woman? It was a dude. No, this wasn't like a woman beater situation. You need to catch that CGA, a review about MTR that MTR reviewed a couple of minutes ago. Okay, I'll check it out. I probably won't do a video on it because I'm not MTR's Captain Save-A-Ho. So it is what it is. But I'm just trying to be a just person. Somebody said she got a draft back. Okay, so as funny as that is, Tiana Taylor, I think that's her name from that movie where she was nominated for that award. She has a long torso. And that's her selling point. That and those sexy, sexy lips. But a lot of Hollywood has those lips because they're very sexy. Her selling point is her long torso. That's something that you can't get at the BBL shop. And she works it just right. She moves it just right. She even, it's kind of like she dances sometimes when she walks. She does like Indian dances sometimes when she walks. So yeah, if done right, especially if you're like her and you got the ghostly outline of a six pack, that's sexy. That's like a whole different, yeah, that's sexy. I don't even know what to say about that. Call it giraffe torso all you want to. That shit hits. Yeah, she is pretty. Yeah, do agree with that. You ain't finding no decent broads over here. No, I'm not gonna say that. See, that's the thing. That's why I can't sign on to the password bros. Because they are some. I found some. I made mistakes. Thinking that there'll be something better for me in the future. So, and just general dumb shit that I did for being young. And I have friends that are married to decent women. So I can't deny that they exist. I'm not going to deny that their existence in the U.S. They're extraordinarily rare, but when you find one and you do your due diligence in scanning, I don't see anything wrong. There was a story last year where a white guy did that. He was married to a black woman here in America and up and left her for a Brazilian. Yeah, I mean, depending on if it was a decent black woman. Listen, I mean, black women, for a large part, because they promoted this whole squirrel life so tough, have really turned themselves into layovers until white guys find themselves something better. But no, if she was a decent enough woman, then he probably should have stayed with her. everything related to prostitution is automatically human trafficking if a man is involved. I don't get that. Like, because I'm gonna get the legal definition of human trafficking and see how does pimping really fall into that. I mean, trust me, I know if you like. Okay, here's what I understand, and maybe it is human trafficking because guys are going online to seduce women. So most of the women that they get are from out of state. And also, actually, I see how they're doing it. Okay, and this is just from what I noticed from watching like whole documentaries and shit like that. Hoes have to rotate. They have to go different places. And that's because the most money that they get is when they're new girls on the block. So they're going block to block a lot. They're going like, if your major city has like 3 strips, then they rotate those 3 strips. And then when they become a familiar face there, they go to like the next, like if they're in Oakland, they rotate the strips. Then they'll go to San Francisco and rotate the strips. And, then, they go to like San Jose or something like that. And then after a while, they're like, okay, I'm a familiar face. I done sucked enough dick to where I'm a familiar face in all of Northern Cali. Let me go to Southern Cali and let me suck some dick there. And hopefully by the time I come back, they would have forgotten my face. So they do that a lot. I can imagine in smaller East Coast states that yeah, that they suck all the dick in New York and then they go to New Jersey, which is like right over the way, and suck some dick there, and then next thing you know, you traffic the bitch. Even though Newark, New Jersey is closer to New York City than than Oakland is to, say, Stockton or something like that, or Sacramento. So yeah, I could see that happening. I could see, a person who does that professionally. He lives in New York and he rizzes some chick in Nebraska, and she comes over, and it's like, oh, you trafficked her, even though trafficking should be where you tie a bitch to a van and you just bring her to New York. I mean, she flies over on her own ticket. Anyway, let me look up the legal definition. Okay, the U.S. federal law, human trafficking is defined as the use of force. Okay, no, then this all fucked. Like, before I even got to the second comma, it says human trafficking is defined as the use of force. Pimps rarely, especially modern pimps, rarely use force. Oh, fraud or coercion. Holy shit, that is a broad definition. I thought I was going to say, I thought I was going to stop at force, but it says the use of force, fraud, or coercion to compel a person into labor. Holy fuck. Okay. Yeah. You're not gonna win. Okay. So pimping is dead. That definition is so fucking broad. So fucking broad. I mean, this definition is so broad that your job is pimping you or has human trafficked you. They coerced you to work there. into labor/service. Yes, your job trafficked you. According to this, Jesus, that is a very broad definition. So they just took this very broad definition and applied it to all pimps, meaning that the judge wants you, or they want you in jail. They're not looking for justice. They understand that this is a broad definition, you know. Damn. Okay. I didn't even read the whole definition. Coercion to compel a person into labor/services, labor trafficking, or commercial sex act. Fuck is commercial sex? Okay. So this has nothing to do with transporting. That's fucked. Okay, I'm confused because the first one didn't, but the first definition didn't have anything to do with transporting. The second portion after the period in the same paragraph says movement of transportation across borders is not oh no, they're saying it's not a required element. So y'all see how I didn't know the definition because I'm not a pimp. I'm not a pimp. You see how I didn't know the definition. And I'm thinking that you have to take somebody over state lines and shit like that. But nope. They specifically say moving or transportation across borders is not a required element of the crime. Whoa. Yeah, it's dead. It's fucking dead. Pimping is dead. I want to see how long they get. They go into the definition of force, fraud, and coercion. Let me see. Well, we know what force is. So I'm gonna just read fraud: deceiving a victim about the nature of the work or the conditions, or offering fake employment. Okay, so regular jobs wouldn't work under the fraud category, but let's see. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, coercion. Okay, let's see. Threats of serious harm, abuse of legal/immigration system. Okay, meaning that if you tell a bitch that, oh, if you don't suck this dick, I'm gonna call ICE. Okay, so the first two I get, but here's the third definition of coercion: psychological manipulation or debt bondage, which is peonage. So psychological manipulation, yeah, which is really what game is. Yeah. Yeah, this is fun. I might say living in the Bay should have pimped by osmosis. I won't even get into that, but yeah, your office is selling booty. No, I'm saying they said labor and services. Like, I mean, technically, I'm offering a service. SaaS, right? Like software as a service. All right. The Diddy case just changed the case law on coercion. I don't know. Coercion is anything. Psychological manipulation is difficult to disprove. Like, she did it because she loved me and we needed the money. So you psychologically manipulated her into loving you. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, so it's dead. It's dead. And you're right. It's because they started putting trafficking laws on it. All right, let's see. It makes sense that pimping is dead because I've never met a millionaire pimp. I have. He didn't get his millions from pimping, but he got a lot of money from pimping, if not a single million. but he did use that money wisely, and he is a millionaire. But this was a long time ago. I don't think he would be able to replicate that now if he was that age now. In fact, I know he wouldn't with the. And here's the cold part. The cold part is that a hoe can say that about you at any time. When relationships go south, and they always go south, even especially in a pimp hoe dynamic, when that happens, she call your probation officer and send your black ass back in the jail. Anyway, I want to thank the Cash App Super Chats, managers, moderators, those who are listening silently, and those who participate in the chat. I'm about to head over to Razor Rays. Razor Rays. About to head over there for a bit. So let me put his link in the chat. But as far as here goes, this is GameChanger 00100. Game over. Peace. Oh, wait a minute. Here's the link. Why is it doing that? What is it? I'm gonna do it twice. All right. Anyway, here's the link. There's the link. Let's say link is inactive. Nope. I'm right there. Anyway, yeah, this is GameChanger 00100. Game over. Peace.